Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds, owner and user of Mint Mobile, with a special holiday message. If you sign up now for 3 months, you get 3 months free on every one of our plans, even unlimited. Now, I realize this is more of a holiday offer than it is a holiday message. But if you read between the lines, you can see a message in there. It says we love you. Visit mintmobile.com/switch for the offer.
Limited time new customer offer. Activate within 45 days. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. Unlimited customers using more than 40 gigabytes per month will experience lower speeds. Video streams at 480p. See mintmobile.com for details.
On today's Smart 7, Boris finally faces the music, Rishi runs into Rwanda trouble and lots more. It's Thursday, 7th of December, it's the first day of Hanukkah, and happy birthday, Nicholas Holt.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Boris Johnson finally turned up at the COVID inquiry on Wednesday, and for possibly the first time in his life, he was early. He arrived 3 hours before the scheduled start time, presumably to avoid protesters and victims' families, but he'd only just begun a long overdue apology when proceedings were interrupted.
Can I just say how glad I am to be at this inquiry, and how sorry I am for the pain and the loss and the suffering
sit down. Please stop.
COVID victims.
Please sit down.
His tone was markedly different to the way he behaved at the Privileges Committee. He spoke quietly and admitted to mistakes, including underestimating the scale and speed at which the pandemic was developing in early 2020. He regretted calling long COVID bollocks, but did say he felt it was important to have a challenging atmosphere in number 10. He pointed fingers at science and the Whitehall establishment and said mass events like Cheltenham should have been stopped earlier, and he revealed that he had apologised to Helen McNamara for the language used about her by Dominic Cummings. He's due to give evidence again on Thursday and will be questioned about the second lockdown. He was also asked about his memorable description of former Health Secretary Matt Hancock.
You yourself said, totally hopeless.
I would say that my job was not to, uncritically, to accept that everything we were doing was good.
James Cleverly returned from Rwanda on Wednesday to report to the Commons on the new treaty, which paves the way for the government's new Rwanda legislation. It was the main topic at Prime Minister's Question Time, with Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer piling on the pressure on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak with a crisp explanation of how exactly the Rwanda scheme has unfolded and giving all the credit to the Rwandan government.
They saw this Prime Minister coming a mile off. When, having already banked £140 million of British taxpayer money, the Prime Minister appears again with another offer they can't refuse. A gimmick that will send taxpayers' money to Rwanda and won't stop the boats.
In fact, the Rwandan government are threatening to pull out of the deal if Rishi's new legislation, which will be formally introduced on Thursday, cannot fulfil the legal obligations required by the Supreme Court and the European Court of Human Rights. But Rishi was still doggedly defending his plan.
This week, we've outlined a plan bigger than any other government before to reduce the levels of legal migration. So if he cares so much about it, the simple question for him is, does he support the plan?
The pressure on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak continued to mount on Wednesday evening. As the details of the new emergency legislation emerged, it became clear that he's settled on a compromise position that will see Rwanda designated as a safe country. The bill will require courts to ignore key sections of the Human Rights Act, but stop short of withdrawing from the European Court of Human Rights and ignoring the act altogether. The compromise was enough to cause Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick to quit, describing the draft bill as a triumph of hope over experience. Earlier former Home Secretary Suella Braverman also put the boot into Rishi, smelling blood in the water as she delivered her resignation statement.
The Conservative Party faces electoral oblivion in a matter of months if we introduce yet another bill destined to fail. Do we fight for sovereignty, or do we let our party die?
Russian President Vladimir Putin made a surprise road trip on Wednesday. He arrived in the United Arab Emirates, not to attend the COP28 climate talks, but for a meeting with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Then he was back on his private jet, escorted by 4 Russian fighter jets, and on to Saudi Arabia, where he met with leader Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. On the agenda for both meetings was closer energy cooperation and a desire to shore up relations with the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. Neither the UAE or Saudi Arabia have signed the ICC treaty, so Putin was in no danger of being arrested under the war crimes warrant, which remains outstanding against him. He was focused on strengthening trade relations with his energy allies.
Last year, trade turnover increased by 67.7%. This year, I think it will be even higher. The same applies to investment activity, and industrial cooperation is also advancing.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, big news for Swifties and relief for United in the Premier League. Right after this.
Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free news podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.
Welcome back. Wednesday saw a big night of Premier League action with 6 midweek games. Brighton beat Brentford 2-1, Crystal Palace lost 2-0 to Bournemouth, and Fulham thrashed Nottingham Forest 5-0. Liverpool travelled to Sheffield United, who are now under new management, but still came away with a comfortable 2-0 win, while Man City was stunned by a 1-0 loss at Aston Villa. Man United welcomed Chelsea to Old Trafford, and Scott McTominay eased the pressure on manager Erik ten Hag with 2 goals to give United a 2-1 win over the Blues. Ten Hag sounded relieved at the end of the game.
You need resilience if you want to end in the top 4, and that's what we want. Yeah, sometimes you have a setback, and then you have to pick yourself up, and you have to put things right.
Wednesday was a big day for the Swiftie in your life as Taylor Swift was named Times Magazine's Person of the Year. OMG! She was up against stiff competition too, facing off against Barbie, Vladimir Putin and every striking actor in Hollywood. Time magazine editor-in-chief Sam Jacobs says Tay-Tay won because she's the rare person who is both the writer and hero of her own story. She's had an amazing year of sellout shows while also taking firm stands on issues that matter to her and her audience. One of her many fans is Julia Roberts, who told Jimmy Fallon about her experience up close with the icon.
I took my kids. This was like our first big concert, and Taylor had said before the show, would you like to come out? And I was like, oh. And then I said, well, can I get a Taylor Swift t-shirt to wear if I go on stage? Because I was wearing an outfit that I had worn like 2 days before on the Ellen show.
It's quite possible that if I say Jake Johnson to you, you'll sort of shrug and struggle to put a face to the name, but if I say Nick from New Girl, you'll probably know who I'm talking about. Jake has moved on. In fact, he's written, directed and stars in his first movie called Self-Reliance. It's a pretty dark comedy which sees a man attempting to win $1 million for taking part in a twisted game show on the dark web. All he has to do to win the money is stay alive. It also stars Andy Samberg and Anna Kendrick, and it streams from January 12th.
You have been selected to partake in the biggest reality show in the dark web. There will be people trying to kill you, the hunters.
What are you talking about? There's people trying to murder me? Oh, shit.
Very much so.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free news podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.